Yeah, it goes everybody, because they will continue over the game called Sweetest Monster. Let's start. Here we go. Maybe I've been outside longer than I thought. It must be the cold. I'm seeing things. What other explanation is there? This can't be real. There's just no way. Do you know who I am now? Slowly, stupidly, I open my mouth and say the very first thing that comes into my head. Belle? The girl's face lights up, wreathed with smiles. That's right, I'm Belle, your great Aunt Clarice's cat. Of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's Belle. She's come back to thank me for trying to save her, though she didn't need saving to begin with. That's just how the world works. Those who do good deeds will get rewarded eventually. I think there's something about it in the Bible. I don't know if there's anything about catgirls in there, though. Granted, I never paid much attention to RE at school, so I can't be sure. I'm no priest. Falling into that river during my formative years must have scarred me more than I thought. And yet, despite my belief that this must be some kind of near-death-induced dream, the girl, or Belle should I say, doesn't disappear, doesn't even flicker. She remains stubbornly solid, letting her elbows against the iron railings as she stares out at the starry sky. Wait, there's still stars even though it's raining? Should it be cloudy and stuff? If it weren't for the ears and tail, she would look like an ordinary girl. An ordinary girl who kisses middle-aged men in the middle of the night. Well, I suppose that isn't so unusual. Not really. Lots of girls do things like that. Some even make livings out of it. But this isn't the same. I know it's not the same. I'm not really a cat, you see. I can tell that much. Maybe you can't now, but you were totally taken in before, right? You, your great Aunt Clarice, your parents, and everyone, really. It was a very convincing disguise. The best Halloween costume I've ever seen. Thanks. I managed to fool all you humans, but the other cats were less convinced. They must have known on some instinctive level that I wasn't one of their own. That's probably why they didn't like me. They didn't want to come near me. That's true enough. Great Aunt Clarice's other cats, Smokey, Mint, Snowdrop, Jasper, and Eric, never went near Belle. I always thought it was just a cat thing. My body was that of a cat, but I was more than that. I've always been more. You said all you humans. Does that mean you're not human? How perceptive of you. She grins. And how many humans do you know that can disguise themselves as a black cat for years upon years? Maybe not a black one specifically. You're funny. You're so freaked out right now, but you're trying hard to make jokes. I like it. Christ. I run a hand through my hair. It's damp and it clumps together in spikes. Water trickles down my forehead. This is ridiculous. How can a cat also be a girl? I don't understand. It's probably easier to think of me as neither. I'm not a cat or a girl. Then what are you? Words begin to flit through my mind. None of them are particularly flattering. Squamous, eldritch abomination. Is that how you pronounce it? Squamous? I'm actually... how can I phrase this? I suppose I would say spirit, but you humans might say other harsher things like demon, devil, maybe monster. Monster? Not too far from abomination then. At least you didn't say elder god. I was taking on the form of a cat out of necessity for a while. I didn't really want to, but I had no choice. I was too weak to assume a human form at the time, so I had to settle for something smaller. What do you mean you were too weak? I can't explain it right now. It's a long and boring story, and you probably wouldn't understand. Probably not. I can't even understand the made-up science fiction jargon in Doctor Who, so how would I ever be able to wrap my head around something like this? Do you remember when I fell into that lake in Clarice's garden? I wasn't paying attention, really. Lost in my own world. When you're a cat and you can't communicate with anyone, daydreaming is all you can do to pass the time. Of course I remember. I almost died. I suppose you have a point. You humans only have one life after all. I take it you spirits, or whatever it is you are, have more? She taps a finger against her nose, that teasing smile flitting about her face. Now, that would be telling. A woman has to have some secrets. I thought you said you weren't a girl. I'm not. There's a big difference between a girl and a woman. Alright, fine, I won't pry, but I still can't wrap my head around all this. Good boy. I don't appreciate that condescending tone. I am 42. And yet, despite your age, you are nothing more than a child compared to me. Just how old is this girl? Sorry, woman. If we first met when I was 6, she must have a considerable head start over me. Isn't it rude to ask the lady her age, though? I was so happy May tried to help me back then. I mean, I wasn't in any danger, but the fact a human would risk their life in order to aid me really was touching. It wasn't touching, it was stupid. Don't be too hard on yourself. I appreciated it. People aren't very nice to us spirits, even when we masquerade as something else. Though they can never tell the difference, I think they can sense it. That might be true, my parents were never too struck on Belle. Neither was I. I wonder why, though. What are the general duties of your average run-off-the-mill spirit? Meting out death, ferrying souls, heralding the apocalypse? If that's the case, it's no wonder people are suspicious of her. I vowed ever since that day, when I had regained enough strength to take on a human form, I would find you and thank you. It became my mission, my reason for living, as it were. I am flattered, but you don't need to go that far. But I did. At the time, I really did. I needed something to care about, something to strive for. I've been a cat for so long, I was almost beginning to lose my sense of self. I was starting to forget who I was, and that's very dangerous for a spirit. Beings like me can take on other forms whenever we want, depending on how strong we are, but if we remain in one form too long and forget about our true selves, we'll be stuck. I was this close. She holds up her thumb and forefinger. The distance between them is minute. Or minute. Microscopic. To forgetting. To condemning myself to live the life of a common house cat for the rest of my life. A life that would have ended far too fast. Cats can't live for nearly as long as spirits can. No, I can't imagine they would be able to. Just what am I talking about? I have no idea what I'm saying. I've never met a spirit before, so I have nothing to compare this girl's words to and no way of verifying her statements. I'm just saying what I think she wants to hear. Trying to make her feel better. Over the course of the last 5 minutes, I've come to realize something. I'm very wet from the fucking rain. Help, let's talk somewhere else where it's not raining. I don't like it when she frowns. I'm glad you tried to save me, Robin. It woke me up from my stupor. Shook me by the shoulders, metaphorically, of course, because cats don't have shoulders, until all the lethargy accumulated over the years fell away. I'd almost begun to forget it was an act. I'd almost forgotten myself. You made me remember. You made me remember who I really am. You didn't save me from drowning, but you saved me in a different way. You saved my identity. You saved not my physical body, but my sense of self. That's why I want to thank you so much. I'd be nothing more than a dead kitty, a stone-cold cat carcass if it weren't for you. I wouldn't be able to talk, to cry, to laugh. I wouldn't even have opposable thumbs. Belle holds up her hands, bedding each of her fingers in turn, like a child showing off an art project to a parent. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. She looks at me earnestly, her green eyes intense. I shiver. It feels like an invisible ghostly hand is brushing against every single vertebra of my spine. Vertebra, blah. I look away, flustered by her forthright honesty, and run a hand through my hair. I really am a typical man, bad with feelings, cowed by confessions. Well, you already said thank you, so you don't need to kiss me. Was that also out of gratitude? Partially, maybe. It's because I realized something crucial. What? Saying thank you wasn't enough. Not after you helped me so much. You helped more than you could ever know. Her eyes flash like faulty street lamps, harsh and intense. I can see streaks of bright green pressed up close against my eyelids when I blink, burnt inside my skull. You almost gave your life to help me. Now I want to return the favor. I eye her suspiciously. And how are you going to do that? She killed me. Oh wait. Getting a bad feeling about this dream, nightmare, hallucination, whatever you want to call it, has become too real. I was playing along until now, waiting until I woke up, but it never happened. I don't think I'll ever wake up. A bizarre fantasy has impeded upon my mundane life, sticking to my skin and chilling my bones. It clings to me, one skinny arm threaded through mine, and stares at me with big, round eyes. Penetrating. Her breasts are small, much like the rest of her body, but they feel soft prints against my arm. I don't know if she's noticed, or was that her intention all along. Her bare arms are exposed to the biting wind, the falling rain, but she doesn't shiver. Her body is cold, but it feels yielding at the same time. For all her talk about being a spirit, a demon, a monster, she looks like a young girl to me. She's so short I could rest my chin against the top of her bob black head. She must be round about the same height as Melly, give or take a few inches. I want to be with you all the time. I want to help you as you help me. Give you a shoulder to cry on when things get tough, and a smiling face to congratulate you when things go well. I wouldn't be alive without your sacrifice, so I belong to you now. I'm all yours. What? What does she mean, all yours? Humans aren't objects any one person can possess, no matter what marriage contracts would have you believe. Though Sally shares my last name on legal documents, she still publishes her translations under her maiden name. We've been married for almost 2 decades. We do not belong to one another. I couldn't force Sally to obey me even if I tried, which I haven't, because I like to think that I respect her. But respect doesn't count for all that much when neither of us particularly likes one another. Belle isn't a human anyway. She's not even a cat. I don't know what she is. Maybe there are different rules in regards to possession when it comes to non-human entities. If there are, I wouldn't know. I've never met a spirit before. That is so silly. You heard me. I want to devote myself to you. My entire being. My each and every eyelash belongs to you, and the dirt beneath my fingernails, and the teeny tiny bones inside my toes. I wouldn't be able to appear before you in this body if you hadn't saved me, so I owe you. I owe you a lot, in more ways than one. Without you, I would not even be alive. The cold wind makes me shiver. I should have worn my coat. Why didn't I wear my coat? How the hell was I supposed to know it was gonna rain? I must have been too much in a hurry. The argument I had with Sally made my blood boil. I needed to escape before I suffocated. The cold air was good for me at first. It cleared my mind. But now I feel uncomfortable. She's standing close. Far too close. She smells of the rain. Her hair sticks to her forehead, and her breasts are still pressed against my arm. It's cold, but I'm starting to feel warm, uncomfortably so. Oh. Belle's green eyes flash like the colored bands trapped inside glass marbles. One more thing, I'm still rather weak. I can maintain a human form, but I can only use it for a short while. Human bodies are difficult to materialize into being, even for a spirit such as myself. You're so intricate like grandfather clocks. You'd never think it, but inside here... She taps her chest, but I don't think she's telling me to stare at her breasts, what little she has. Rather, she's imploring me to look beyond that, right past her skin, into the inner workings of her alien, unfamiliar body. There's so much stuff going on all the time, so many organs and muscles, and so much blood. My whole body is tethered together with cord and wire, run by electrical impulses, neurons firing in the brain. It's very hard to focus on maintaining such a precarious, delicate existence for so long. It's exhausting. If I let my guard down for even a moment, I just disappear into thin air, like a candle being blown out. I've never heard anybody talk about the human body in such an impassioned way. It's strange since Belle isn't a human herself. Maybe that's why she's so eager. People always get interested in the unknown. Why else do so many people long for the good old days? We always do it, nostalgically hearkening back to past we did not even enjoy at the time. The grass is always greener. Everything becomes more attractive with distance, even the finer workings of the human body. Perhaps if I was not a human being, I would also find the respiratory system endlessly fascinating. Was it being a cat just as difficult? They have lots of little bones too. Being a cat was difficult, but I grew used to it. A few decades will do that to you. Being a human, however, is rather new. I need some time. You've not assumed a human form before? Even as I ask that question, I feel myself wince. My left eye twitches. I must sound like such a fool. This isn't the kind of thing I should say. This discourse is no place in civilized conversation. It's the kind of fanciful dialogue that might exist in a young adult novel or TV show. But real life? My life? Not a chance. But I still ask all the same, and Belle responds in turn. She doesn't even blink. Of course I have. How else would I know how to speak? It all comes with practice. Like riding a bike? Yep, once you've done it, you don't forget. But it's been a while. Define a while. I can't. Spirits live longer than humans, so my perception of time is a bit off. But if you had to guess, I don't know, the last time I was a human was maybe 40 years ago, but I've been alive longer than that. Longer than you could imagine. Wow, I don't know what to say. Should I turn it to a joke? That might be for the best if I don't want to go insane, presuming I haven't already. I don't know if I feel comfortable about this. I should probably ask my mother for permission before I start chatting to such an old lady. Belle giggles and swats at me playfully, like a cat, batting at a bird's carcass. I see she wasn't lying when she said she'd been a cat for so long. I'm surprised she hasn't tried to lick me yet. Or herself. I'd love to stay and chat, but I can feel myself getting faint. I might have to take my leave soon. But this won't be the last time you see me. I'll make sure of that. With that cheery exclamation, Belle stands on her tiptoes and plants a small kiss on the tip of my nose. The gesture is unexpected and strangely sweet. I stare at her stupidly. All right, Robin, I'll see you soon. Much, much sooner than you may think, hee hee. I'm not sure if I should take that as a threat or not. And what's with that hee hee? She isn't a cute schoolgirl, no matter how hard she's trying. She isn't even a girl at all. She's a spirit. Something vague and unfixed, like a breath of air. Do spirits have genders? Did she assume a female form as an act of whimsy? A silly joke? I wonder. But I don't have the time to ask. I blink once, twice, and Belle has already vanished, her back melting into the surrounding darkness. I collapse against the railings of the bridge, sapped of strength. The iron bars are cold against my back, but my face feels hot. My nose tingles. I can still feel her lips pressed against it, that soft and girlish kiss. I hold one hand against my nose gingerly, as though it belongs to somebody else, a different man. A better man, perhaps, whose wife still loves him, and whose daughter does not hide in her room every time he comes back home. Why am I thinking about Melly now? About Sally? Maybe it's guilt. It's because deep down inside, though I tried myself otherwise, I'm happy such a pretty young girl kissed me. Of course I am. Damn, dude. Cheater. Despite the falling rain, her body really was warm. When I return home, chilled from the wind and soggy with rain, I discover that the lights in the house are off. Sally must be asleep. I'm not sure about Melly. For all I know, she could be curled up in her bedroom, curtains drawn, reading a book, or searching the net with her old laptop. Or maybe she's just sitting there, staring at the ceiling, cursing besotedly. I have no idea. I really don't know much about Melly, do I? How on earth did we become so estranged? We're father and daughter. She's my flesh and blood, but she might as well be a stranger. I wish I could shrug it off with an oh well, and sometimes I can, but it feels far too pressing right now. Far too depressing, more like. I open the front door and step inside, closing it behind me with a soft click. I don't want to wake anybody up. I even try to stifle the jingling of my keys, though I doubt that small sound would be enough to rouse anyone. I'm just trying to be considerate. Some people would call that overcompensating. I lean more towards cowardice. I don't want to get drawn into another row. I don't turn the lights on. Instead, I grope my way up the stairs in the dark, one hand on the wall, the other on the banister. Sally scolds me when I brush against the wall with my fingertips. She says it will stain the paint. Beige paint. The carpet is beige too. Why did we decide to carpet the stairs in beige? It shows every single speck of dirt, no matter how minuscule, and a tight-lipped Sally has to vacuum each and every step, all 18 of them, every other week. Maybe I should feel guilty for not cleaning the house more often, but Sally does work from home. Unlike me, she has more free time. Besides, she was the one who decided on the color scheme. If she likes beige so much, she can have it, but she's the one who has to deal with it. Damn. I really am cold, aren't I? So much for trying to be courteous. Why did I bother leaving the lights off? I should have flicked them all on, then tramped up the stairs in my shoes, stamping on each step for good measure. I like to think I'm a decent person, but I'm not always sure. I can be pretty selfish at times. At least, Belle likes me. That might be a small consolation if I weren't beginning to doubt whether or not she actually exists. Maybe I've gone insane. Is that where Melly caught it from? It could run in the family. Great Aunt Clarice was definitely a few cards short of a full deck, given she had all those cats. I let myself into my bedroom. No, not my bedroom, our bedroom, and shrug out of my jacket silently. Sally doesn't stir. I can see her lying underneath the covers, curled up on herself, a lump that rises and falls in the dark. She's lying on the left side of bed, resolutely facing the wall. Does she still not want to see me? Sally looks younger when she's sleeping. Her blonde hair is too loose, free from her bun, and falls over her pillow, across her face. Her pajamas are strangely cute for a woman 1 year shy of 40. A demure white nightgown, like something a student at Mallory Towers might wear. All of a sudden, I'm run through with a sharp stabbing sensation. Guilt. I'm sorry for being such a lousy husband, Sally Pally. You deserve better. She doesn't respond. Of course she doesn't. Apologies don't mean all that much when you forget to say them out loud. Damn, dude. May 12th, Wednesday. The breakfast table is quiet the following morning. Shafts of sunlight divide the table in two. Me on one side, Sally on the other. Melly isn't here. She hardly ever is. I know that, but I still ask. Why isn't Melly here? You know why. Sally sighs, setting her newspaper to one side. It crumples. The face of a UKIP politician splashed across the front cover distorts, his head collapsing in on itself. It's because she doesn't want to talk to you. I nod, taking another sip of my coffee. Try and play it cool. We're just discussing the fact that my only daughter probably doesn't love me anymore. Did she already go to school? A nod. Is this a silent treatment? How mature. Melly didn't need to do that. I'd give her a lift if she wants. Melly's school, St. Catherine's, is only a short walk away from Whitfield Junior's, but that's probably why Melly refuses to let me drive her there in the first place. Having a primary school teacher as a father, and not just any primary school teacher, but a music teacher, must be embarrassing, especially when I had the pleasure of teaching most of her school friends only a few years ago. Not that Melly has any friends. If she does, I've certainly never met them. Melly doesn't like asking for favors. She keeps herself to herself, especially when I'm around. I can't really blame her for that. Ooh, that stings. Isn't it a little too early in the morning for caustic comments? I apologize. I'll try to rein my acid tongue in until at least 5:30 in the afternoon. Thank you. It would be appreciated. I laughed dryly and set my mug of coffee down on its coaster. Sally always gets mad when I forget to use one. Depressing though it may seem, today is a normal day. Sally and I at the table, embalmed in our own respective silences. It's been like this for a good year or so. There's no reason why it shouldn't be like this now. Even though the events of last night were so fantastical, they may as well have been a dream. Perhaps they were a dream. Nothing seems to have changed. I get to my feet, depositing the cup by the sink. My car keys jingle in my pocket. I'll be going then. Have a good day. Sally's looking at a newspaper again, holding it in both hands so the broadsheet threatens to swallow her whole. She doesn't look back at me. How cruel. What if I got into an accident on the way to work? What if I died? About 5 people die on the roads every day in Britain. Those are undisputable facts. I could be one of those statistics someday. But Sally doesn't seem to care. Maybe she'd be happier that way. I'm sure Melly would. This is depressing. As I walk out the front door, shielding my eyes from the intrusive sunshine, I think about Sally. I think about Melly. I think about myself and sigh a deep, self-pitying sigh. Meeting Belle last night must have been a dream, some form of escapism. I bet most rapidly approaching middle-aged men have fantasies about young girls finding them attractive. What other purpose do those raunchy calendars with half-naked women have, if not to stroke egos? Sally always say men are disgusting. I must be too, having a dream like that. At least I don't like Marmite, unlike Sally. Marmite really is disgusting. Exposed to the light of day, my hazy recollections of some 10 hours past are distorted. I can hardly remember what the girl looked like, other than those eyes, those bright, burning eyes. I shake my head. It never happened. It was just a delusion, a dream of better things beyond my humdrum job and arguments with my wife. I should be old enough now to know better. I should be. But that doesn't mean I am. Like the morning, the day passes without event. My year 4 group after lunch were particularly obnoxious. The Heather Chambers ended up in tears after Cody Bamber made a disparaging comment about her mother, something along the lines of her being a prosy, but that was fairly standard. You get used to stuff like that when you've been a teacher long enough. It desensitizes you. I did feel a bit sorry for Heather, though. She's a sweet kid, and she doesn't deserve it. I think it must be her red hair. It makes her an easy target. Where do kids even pick up such vulgar language? They're only 9. I didn't go around calling my classmates mothers prosies when I was a kid. I was outside playing with my model airplanes. I blame the internet, of course I do. I'm getting old, and that's what all old people do. Oh, too relatable. Fucking internet, fucking minors every goddamn day on the fucking internet. They have to post their stupid fucking opinions. I hate them. The evening passes in a similar fashion, dull, monotonous, and completely predictable. I see Melly for all of 10 minutes. When we sit at the dinner table for an awkward meal, Sally tries her best to instigate conversation, but Melly keeps her head bowed, half submerged in the oversized folds of her hoodie, and replies with vague and She looks tired and keeps rubbing her eyes. I worry she'll pitch forwards and end up face first in her mashed potatoes. I hope she's getting enough sleep at night. That's what she has the melatonin for. Joan Fowler said it would help. Not that I trust Joan Fowler. It starts to get dark. I find myself sitting in the living room with Sally, staring at some insipid show on TV without really watching it. Sally and I sit together, but we don't talk. We hardly ever talk. Not unless we have something to complain about. How did this happen? How did we let this happen? Or maybe it's not a case of letting. Maybe this is what awaits all marriages somewhere along the line. The halcyon, is that how you pronounce it? Halcyon, blah blah. The honeymoon period followed by disappointment, diffidence, and gradual decay. The thought is so depressing it's enough to rouse me from my sleepy stupor. My subconscious shifts guiltily. I know I shouldn't, but I keep thinking about her. Was I so desperate for something, anything to save me from this rut that I started hallucinating? There's just no way great Aunt Clarice's cat could really be a cute girl. No way. Am I going crazy? Is this what having a midlife crisis feels like? Hey, Sal. She makes a small noise, registering my words, but she doesn't reply. Not properly. Am I that undeserving of her attention? That stings a little, Sal. I'm going to make coffee. You want one? Oh, sure. Milk and sugar, right? She nods. I've been married to her long enough that I don't need to double check, but I do it all the same. I feel like I have to. Suddenly, terrifyingly, she feels like a complete stranger. Sally might be my wife, my Sally Pally, but how well do I really know her? I know that she giggles like a kid on helium when you prod her belly button, and I know she has a mole on the underside of her right foot. I know spicy foods makes her nose run, and I know she saw Grease 6 times when it came out in the cinema when she was a girl, and I know how much she makes the white sauce for our Christmas puddings, a secret recipe she guards jealously from the rest of our family. I know she takes her coffee with milk and sugar, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know anything about her at all. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Right, I'll get it for you in a sec. Thanks. No prob. Our interaction sounds casual, completely natural, but it still makes me feel tense. We were having an argument this time yesterday evening about Arabella Wade of all people. Arabella starting Wade. Are we going to pretend that never happened? Maybe that's why Sally's ignoring me. Maybe she's mad at me. Or maybe she isn't ignoring me. Maybe she has something to say. Isn't that even worse? Is that how little I mean to her? I rise to my feet and pad into the kitchen. I take out 2 mugs from the cupboard. Sally has a picture of a Snork Maiden on it. It's one of her favorites. Set them on the counter and start to rifle through the fridge. Houston, we might have a problem. Sally, there's no milk. She doesn't respond. Maybe she can't hear me, though it seems unlikely. I'm a quiet person by nature, but I developed a rather loud shouting voice after working at Wheatfield for so long. It was inevitable, really. Kids do that to you. But Sally doesn't say a word. I didn't want a cup of coffee that much, but I guess a small errand will give me something to do. That was the only reason why I went to the kitchen to begin with. To escape. I'm going to go to the store and pick some up. Is that okay? Still no response. I take the silence as confirmation. I close the door of the fridge with a dull thud. Right, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Silence. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't say that I'm surprised. I walk along by the riverside, my hands jammed into my pockets. My fingers brush against the cold metal of my keys, strangely reassuring in their chunkiness. At least that's the one thing that will never change, the chill of my house keys against the palm of my hand. The weather's been particularly temperamental lately. It's hot during the days but cold at nights. It just can't make up its mind, trapped between spring and summer. That's May for you. I shiver into my jacket, expelling my breath into the chilly air. I could have taken the car, but I fancy the walk. The sound of my footsteps against the pavement is comforting. A little physical exercise never hurt anybody. Even if the cold isn't particularly pleasant, I need to work out more. That's what I tell myself, but I know I have ulterior motives. I want to see her again. That girl. Uh-oh. This isn't good, guy. You should communicate with your wife properly, but she isn't here. The bridge over the river is empty, devoid even of late-night joggers and dog walkers. Come to think of it, I haven't seen a single soul since I started my mini-odyssey. Are there no other men out there trying to avoid their wives? The thought makes me feel a bit lonely. I'm a fool, as if she would be out here at this time. It's late. Good girls should be indoors at this hour, doing their homework. Not that she goes to school. I don't know if there are many schools in that area that accept cat spirits. I'll have to ask around. I cross the bridge with a heavy heart, trying to set my own melancholy state. How pathetic. A grown man like me shouldn't be swooning after such a young girl, especially not a young girl who might be part cat, but is almost definitely 100% daydream. The wind stirs the leaves in the trees overhead. The water beneath the bridge glows beneath the light of the moon. Belle might not be here, but that abandoned shopping trolley is, in all its ghostly glory. It looks mysterious in the dark, its metal skeleton shimmering in the moonlight. An exotic creature of the deep. Can hear just beyond the soft moan of the wind another sound, a dull creak carried on the breeze. I think I know what it is. There's a small park on the opposite side of this river, with rusty old equipment, a climbing frame, a slide, a couple of seesaws, a few swings. I used to go there with Melly back when she was a little girl and didn't feel embarrassed about being seen in public with me. I used to push Melly on those swings and they would creak. They needed oiling even back then, and a fresh coat of paint. She would laugh, delighted, her bobbed hair fluttering in the breeze. It's different now, of course. She doesn't laugh like she used to. I don't think she could, even if she tried. I pause, overrun with nostalgia. I'm sure it's just a few local kids pissing about, wasting time while their parents worry, but I'm suddenly curious. It wouldn't hurt to take a quick look in the park. Sally won't mind. I doubt I could make a relationship any worse than it already is. Oh, there she is. Oh, I was wondering if we run into each other again, but before we do continue on, I have to stop it here because I have to prepare for work. So this is Sweetest Monster. Holy shit, man. This is so... I'm getting really anxious whenever our main character Robin and Sally are in the room trying to communicate and stuff, and we get nothing answers. Like, oh, god damn it, please work out, man. This is so good. For what to try to get it for yourself, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.